Hello, what you're about to see is the restoration of an American 8-day time and strike movement. This movement was removed from a Seth Thomas manual clock and shows the typical wear that is associated with a 90 to 100-year-old clock movement. This excessive wear will cause the clock to run sporadically or not at all. Here is the movement as it was removed from the clock case. Notice the excessive wear to the pivot holes as the pivots ride loosely inside them, causing this movement to run only for a few minutes and then stop. Backside of the same movement, again, excessive damage to the pivot holes and pivots. The first thing we do in the restoration process is ultrasonically clean the movement in a special clock cleaning solution to remove the old lubricants and dirt that built up over the many years. Then the movement is disassembled. Here you will see the back plate being removed, revealing the internal components of the clock movement. This is a worn pivot. It shows tapering and overall roughness from contact with a worn pivot hole. Again, another excessively worn pivot. To repair those worn pivots, we install the entire arbor with gear into a lathe and use a pivot polisher with a solid carbide wheel. This will smooth out all roughness and remove the tapering, making the pivot perfectly round and true again. The finished pivot straight and true and all imperfections removed. The next step is to repair the oblong pivot hole. This is done by reaming out the worn pivot hole and inserting a new bronze bushing with an inner diameter that will accept the repaired pivot. This is the new bushing being tapped into the reamed out hole. Running straight and true. Another worn pivot being polished. This is a close-up of an oblong pivot hole before repair. Now the same oblong hole after the new bushing was tapped into place. Here's a time side of the movement assembled and checking for any potential binding problems. Now the restored movement prior to final reassembly. Here the movement is assembled and all the adjustments made to the strike and time side of the movements.